What the hell's going on, you guys? So, I want to talk to you guys simply about how I'm making about $500 a month in passive income through dividend investing. And that's a conservative number, and I'll probably show you a little bit why. So, if you want to highlight this specifically, when I say I'm making about 5,000 or $500 a month in passive income, I'm only talking about 63% of my portfolio. This amount here, this 37% wedge here, is actually my 401k. And so I don't actually count any dividends from there because I'm not able to separate it out just based off of how Fidelity does their work or whatever. But if you actually look at the 150,000 or so that I have invested in an actual portfolio outside of my 401k, I'm making about $6,000 a month. And you're probably like, well, that's not, or $6,000 a year. Well, Matt, that's $5,980 or whatever. Yeah, but let's be honest. In about a month or so, when I reinvest some of these dividends that I get here from like Realty Income Corp and stuff like that, that's going to go to 6,000 relatively quickly. So let's just say by the time you're probably watching this video, uh, I probably got a dividend reinvestment or something like that, and I'm probably making 6,000 a month. Or to be honest, I have a little bit of cash that I could invest and easily get this $100 and reinvest it, or $100 a year, reinvest it into something else, and make this 6,000. So let's be honest. I'm at basically $500 a month, and I'm being very conservative because I'm not taking into account my 401k. So how's that really split up? So I have a decent amount of different stocks that I have in here, and what I have on the left-hand side here is the sector portfolio or sector weighting percentage of the portfolio, so how much value, cash value it is, and then on the more right-hand side here, I have what the income is. Now, you guys probably see I have a lot invested in energy. It's because I'm in the oil and gas industry, and I know a lot about the oil and gas industry, and it's relatively deflated at the moment. And it's actually done very well over the past couple months. Um, that's a different story for a different day. Currently, I'm working on expanding my portfolio into the other sectors. So currently, you can see that I'm relatively high uh, highly invested in real estate as well. About 18 to 20% of my income comes from real estate at the moment, and I'm trying to really diversify that. And you can see there's very few sectors where I have very little investment. In terms of like a in terms of what do you say here, the actual cash value. So I have a little bit of cash. I guess the thing that you could say I have the least of is utilities, which makes sense. I do have a little bit of telecom, which is my AT&T and T and my Verizon. That makes a lot of sense. Um, and I don't have a lot of consumer discretionary either, or industrials, um, or healthcare. Dang, I don't have any healthcare. Huh. I used to have a little bit of Johnson and Johnson, but I think Johnson and Johnson is technically considered a consumer staple. But anyway, different story for a different day. So, actually scrolling down here, you can see I have very few stocks that really jump out at you in terms of high weightage percentage. Here is a couple of the stocks that I have, like Royal Dutch Shell, BP, um, those kind of stocks. Since I have a high weighting towards, sorry, I'm cat sitting some of my friends, so the cat is currently freaking out. But anyway, I think this is relatively cool. You can see that I'm probably not going to hit the 6,000 or $500 a month mark until next year because part of this year is already done. But I'm hoping to get this 2018 bar to about 67 or 5,700 or so, just under $500 a month. But next year, I'm easily going to surpass this $500 a month in passive income. On a monthly split, you can see that, as always, my March, June, September, December dividends are always the highest. Mostly my March and September because I think I have a couple semi-annual payments that come in at that point. But yeah, you can see 2019. I'm gonna get that $6,000 mark. I'm just at around the 5,500 mark for 2018. Um, so I'm getting relatively close. I'm really excited about this September. I'm supposed to get around $900 in passive income just in September alone. But in the off months, I average around 300 to 350. Whereas last year I was averaging around 200. Here was 100. So just getting around the $200 mark. So relatively awesome in that perspective. And then actually looking at what my year-over-year growth has been in 2018 alone, just getting to this $5,400 mark, I'm looking at about a 56% increase over 2017, which is relatively great. And even next year, without reinvesting anything, and just going through the year, just based off of having 4 quarters rather than 2.5 quarters to use, I'm already up 10% on this year, just based off the fact that I've just invested in some in Pepsi, which I might make a video about, and I'll get 3 quarters of that this year for the entire year. I'll get 3 dividend payments this year, but next year I'll get 4, right? So part of that's considered the dividends that I reinvest. Like I reinvest all my dividends from Realty Income Corp, Main Capital, Stag Industrial, stuff like that. All those dividends that I reinvest, on a monthly basis, aren't necessarily getting counted in 2018, if that makes sense, because technically I'll reinvest a share of Realty Income Corp, and yes, it'll have effect from say April or May onwards, but it won't necessarily have the full year effect, whereas in 2019 it will. Does that kind of make sense? But anyway, really exciting. I was really hoping to get around 6,000 this year, but I don't necessarily know if I'll have enough invested capital to make that happen. So, but I'll be close, the 5,700 mark. So I might break this 70% year-over-year increase like I've been getting the past couple months. If I am able to get let's just say, close to 5,800 or something like that, let's just see what I end up getting in terms of a year-over-year growth. So I get about 68%. So if I'm able to hit that 5,800, 5,850 mark in terms of 2018 dividends, and I'm looking pretty good, I might be able to get to that 70%. But as the dividends increase, it's going to get pretty wild. I mean, if you think about getting a 70% increase on next year's dividend, I'm going to have to break the $10,000 mark, which is pretty substantial. I mean, that's basically doubling my portfolio almost in a year, which when you're getting around $150,000 to $200,000 worth of dividends, I mean, I could easily do it if I wanted to like convert my 401k to individual stocks. You'd be like, holy crap, that's a huge jump in dividends. But that 401k is kind of put off, and I'm kind of using this dividend growth portfolio as kind of like a gap, a bridge to get me from where I am today to potentially that 401k money. So anyway, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I could easily go through some of the things that I've done in the past couple months in order to continue to grow my portfolio. What I'll talk about next is some of the dividend increases that I've got over the past couple months through May-ish time frame. And that's pretty cool because it's not even a full year yet, and you can see that I've gotten a pretty good amount of dividend increases and one large dividend decrease for the year. But anyway, different story for a different day. But yeah, very cool. If you guys have any questions about some of my spreadsheets or anything like that, I just made a video on that, and I'll put the link in the upper hand corner. And feel free to look at some of my journeys that I've done. I think I've done videos on how I made $200 a month in passive income, $300 a month in passive income, and I think 6 or 7 months ago I made a video about $400 a month, and now I'm finally getting around to making potentially $500 a month in passive income. So it's been a long journey, but you can definitely start seeing the snowball come into effect here, and I think all of you can appreciate that just like I am. But definitely not easy, requires a lot of diligence and a lot of money saved. So it's not very easy, but $150,000, while it's not crazy money, it is a decent chunk of change for a lot of people. So if you can get there, you can easily make around $6,000 a year in passive income, or $500 a month, which for a lot of people is a car payment. For a lot of people, it's groceries. For me, it's just going right back into the dividend pot for the moment, and eventually I'll start pooling the dividends instead of automatically reinvesting them. But anyway, if you guys haven't already, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for another video. Take care.